All right. Hey, everybody. This is Bonnie. Thank you, Caleb. I needed to draw on my technical man here to help me get this thing going this morning. I am going live and from a remote location. So thanks for being patient. So that only took 2 minutes. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and move this a little. Nope, this direction. There you go. That might be a little better. So, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Friday Fun Live. I'm Bonnie Barker with Bonnie Bay Crochet, sitting in this week chair today, and just wanted to welcome you all here. It's so good to be able to do this today. Before I get started into some details and greeting everybody specifically, I need to let you know that next Friday I'm not going to be going live. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving. And the Friday after that, there's going to be a lot of family in town, and I want you to prioritize family as much as me. So, I mean, we all have going to have a lot going on. So I just want to let you know I'm going to skip next Friday due to Thanksgiving holiday. So so other than that, after that, I hope to be back on schedule. So thank you for your understanding there. I know you're going to be busy, and hey, you might be a lot of good sales to check out on Friday. That's kind of a fun thing I like to do with my kids. Don't know how much I'm going to do, but it's always fun to do that. Actually, a couple of the books that I've published in years past have been a result of going out on the Friday after Thanksgiving, the Black Friday, and finding a basket full of yarn to make designs. So anyway, all right, well, let me go ahead and greet everybody here. Uh, okay, thank you, Hannah. Um, Let me go ahead and get this back up. There we go. All right. So we have Angie. Good morning, Angie, and Love to Craft. Great to have you. Waving right back at you. And Brat's mom says, Good morning, Bonnie, Hannah, Becky, and all my dear yarnies. It's cold here in the Southwest Chicago suburbs. I'm awaiting my physical therapy session. Oh boy, what fun. Tell them not to torture you too much, Linda. My sister used to be a physical therapy assistant years ago, and she is now a nurse working in a pediatric office. I've done that for many, many years, decades actually. Um, but yeah, she used to do the pain and torture on patients and was very good at it. I mean, not in jest, of course, but so glad that you can be here. And Brat's mom, thanks again. Just a reminder to hit that thumbs up button if you can. That would be great. Or don't worry about it if you can't. And Marie, good to see you. In the chat, good morning, Bonnie and friends. Have a blessed week. Thank you so much. We'll be heading to South Carolina for Thanksgiving, on Thanksgiving. Right now, I am down outside of Atlanta, southwest of Atlanta, somewhere in the South, and it's cold. I mean, Linda was saying it's cold in Chicago. It's cold in Georgia. So I know you guys must be really cold there. As I speak, Maryland, my home state, is getting snow. So I'm missing the first snow. Oh, well, I'm sure they'll save some more for me later. Um, Wanda Gordon, so glad to have you here from North Carolina. This is just very chilly in North Carolina. Praying everyone has a blessed Thanksgiving. Thank you so much, Wanda. And Denise, hey to you. And Cynthia, she said, I'm so glad Friday is here. Love to everyone and happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much, Cynthia. And Phil, I am so sorry to hear your news. Hannah sent that to me right away. So let's all be praying for Phil, everybody. He says his mom passed away on Sunday, and today is her funeral service. Oh my goodness. I'm relieved she is not hurting anymore and is in a better place. Take care, everyone. Phil, I've been praying for you, my friend, and we will continue to think of you. Um, that is a really hard thing to walk through. I've walked through it personally. I know many in the chat have, so we know how to pray for you. And um, let me know if there's anything we can do. Okay. And Hannah sent me another prayer request. Looks like from Sandra Harper. She says, would like to ask for prayers for my daughter. She's in the hospital and we are awaiting test results. Thank you. Okay, that is very scary, Sandra. We will definitely be adding you to our prayer list. And please let us know any updates if you can, when you can. Um, And Phil says her service starts at 1 p.m., but I'm one of the pallbearers. Okay. Yeah. Well, special grace on you, Phil. We will be thinking of you and praying for you even right now. Wow, that's so hard. Mm. But that puts a lot of things in perspective. Hopefully, gives us all several things we can add to our thankful list for those of you who make those. We have so much to be grateful for, and I can't really focus too much on that. I will just lose it emotionally in the best possible way, and I don't want to be doing that so far. I want to get through some things and share some things with you. Um, but yeah, we have so much to be thankful for. I hope to sit down. I was revisiting my blog from a couple years ago, from 2021, and looking at that, realize I need to update that. I need to do a more recent one. I haven't done that in a few years. Um, so many things I am so thankful for, and just being able to be here with you guys and do what I do, and do something that I absolutely love, is one of them. Just I know many people, out of love for their family, work jobs that they don't particularly like, but they do them faithfully. I know that's hard. I saw my parents, both of my parents, do that for many years. Um, so thankful that that is not my lot in life. I get to do what I absolutely love, and being with you guys is just cream on the top. Just such an added blessing. Um, One of the blessings is right below me in the room, sleeping, taking a nap, a little guy, my son's baby. And once the broadcast is over, I get to walk across the street and see another little guy, my other grandson, and looking forward to watching him so that his mom can get some things done. And okay, we have Barbara. Barbara, thank you so much for being in the chat. She says, morning from the elf workshop. Patchwork trees and crochet stars are the recent fun. Like I said before, my friend Barbara is incredible. She has so many skills, besides growing food in Alaska. I mean, yeah, growing food in Alaska, knowing how to can it and take care of all that. Um, a seamstress, crocheter, probably knitter. I'm not sure about the knitting, but does so many things with the work of her hands, and does it very well. Thank you, Hannah. She's sending us another message from Felicia Weatherspoon, saying that her niece is in the hospital and asking for prayer. So we can definitely do that. Thank you, Hannah, for sending that to us. Looking forward to seeing Hannah in about a week or 6 days, actually. Yay. Um, oh, well, guys, I have to tell you. I flew down. What was it? Tuesday from BWI outside of Washington D.C. Well, Baltimore actually. BWI, Baltimore Washington International Airport, and on a nonstop to Atlanta, and we descended through. All I can say is it was like the messiest soup that I've ever flown in a while, and I, a thought crossed my mind, say, how do people get on airplanes who don't know Jesus? I really don't know. And I love to fly. One of my sons has a pilot's license, and he hasn't taken me flying yet, but I want to go flying with him. But darn, I mean, what we descended into. My daughter sent me afterwards. Thankfully, I didn't know this was during the flight, but sent me a snapshot of her radar of Atlanta when I was coming down, and it was just a mess. I mean, it wasn't a hurricane or anything, but just the disruption, and oh my goodness, we were up and down and all around. It was exciting. So I told the kids, I don't need to go to Six Flags or any amusement park after that. I got my fill coming down, but thankfulness goes to the pilots and the people who do this every day, and it's just a part of their daily routine. It's not a part of mine, but I was just very thankful to be able to land, and just amazing. I'm gonna go on just for a minute here. Just amazing how I was sitting next to the window, and I like to have my window up. But once I realized there was nothing but whiteness from the time we took off, because we could see nothing because of the weather, I just lowered it But then getting closer to landing, I lifted it up and I could feel that we had descended quite a bit and looked out the window, nothing. You could see nothing until the last 2 minutes before we landed. I mean, it's amazing that they can use electronics to know what's on the ground to do the instrument flight rule thing. Anyway, I got a little geeked out about that, but it's just amazing that what we can do when it works. All right. Um, and let me continue on here. I just want to greet as many people as I can. Thank you, Wanda, for caring for Phil. And Alana, thank you too. Thank you for being here and just caring for one another in the chat. This is real, guys. I know it's cyberspace, but we are real people. I've met many of you. Thank you. And God hears these prayers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Rita, she says, hello, everyone. Still gray and chilly in South New Jersey, but rain has finally stopped. So a small blessing here. Good, good, Rita. I wonder if it's going to turn to snow like it did in Gaithersburg. Maybe that's all south of you, which would probably be good. And we have Diane from New Jersey. And thank you, Rita, for caring for Phil. And Heather, um, thank you again, you and your husband both, for caring for Phil as well, and Hannah too. And Susan B, welcome. Susie Pop's Creation, and Beverly, hello. And Mary, she says, I'm using your patterns on YouTube and love them, and thank you. Thank you, Mary. I'm so glad that's working out for you. I so appreciate you all. I'm glad it worked. It's not something you can learn. Even crochet is not something. When I was learning crochet, I didn't learn it on the first try, the third try. It took digging in my heels and practice, but I'm so glad that these are working. And hey, Carmen, welcome. And Sandra says, morning, Bonnie and all. Would like to, okay, we just read that one. Okay, great. Ask for your prayers for your daughter. Yes, Sandra, we definitely, I have that on Hannah's notes so I can write that down into my notes afterwards. Thank you. And thank you, Susan, for the reminder of the thumbs up. Thank you. And Mary Ford, welcome. And again, Brad's mom, thanks for taking care of Phil. And Beverly says, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Yes, indeed. For those of you who are in the U.S. and celebrate Thanksgiving, even if you're not in the U.S., you want to join us in a celebration time next Thursday, please do that. It's a wonderful time to just reflect and, count one's blessings. We probably need to do that more in the U.S. since we have so much. I mean, worldwide, certainly, but we have a lot to be thankful for. And Donna, welcome. Says, hello, Bonnie, Hannah, and everyone else who loves yarn and crochet. I'm from Ohio. Wow. Well, welcome, Donna, from Ohio. I was up in your neck of the woods earlier in the year. We were up there for the total eclipse, which was really, really cool. And Sue, hello. And Felicia, good to have you with us. And Mary from Canada. I bet it's cold up there. And Beverly sends her prayers. Thank you so much, Beverly. And again, Hannah, thanks for being there. Denise says it's chilly here today in Windsor, Ontario, 44 degrees. Wow. It was about like that down here in Georgia. It's been a little chilly in the house. I actually feel quite comfortable wearing a wool sweater this morning, which is not something I usually wear when I visit my kids down here in Georgia. It's usually trying to find reprieve from the heat. All right. And then Vanessa from the Pacific Northwest. She's making your Celtic mandala blanket right now. Oh, Vanessa, I hope that works out. I know a lot of people have trouble with that one, but I really hope that works out for you. If not, you know where to reach me, bonniebay@me.com. I do respond to my emails. Just to let you know, though, the weekend is going to be a little busy for me. So if I don't respond this weekend, just know that I will get to you next week. And also with the holidays, Thanksgiving, next weekend is going to be it's just going to be a lot of family. And I really want to prioritize family. So hopefully if you have any issues with any of the patterns and you need to contact me, just please do it earlier in the week and I will get to you. Otherwise, it'll just gonna have to wait, just so that, yeah, I am a one person company or business. Um, it's kind of funny sometimes when people have posted comments on YouTube as if nobody ever reads them. And certainly as if I don't ever read them. I do read them. I get to as many as I can. Um, so thank you for those of you who do post encouraging things. And when you have questions and have concerns and issues with the things, with with the patterns and whatnot, I like to hear about that too. In fact, if there's anything that needs to be made better, I want to know about that too. And I do appreciate it when it's done in a gracious manner because I am a person, just like you guys, and we respond better to sugar than vinegar. But anyway, thank you all so much for understanding all of that. Um, well, let me tell you a little bit about last weekend. So much has happened in a week because I got to see my kids in Pittsburgh for a couple days, and then my son and his wife, and together we took a trip. It's outside of Pittsburgh, about an hour outside of Pittsburgh. I don't even remember the exact name of the little town, if there even is a town, because it's kind of like in the wilderness. But we got to go see Fallingwater. That's the house that was built by Frank Lloyd Wright. And they built this he was commissioned to build this for the Kaufman family, which apparently owned a prominent department store in Pittsburgh during the 1930s. And apparently he was an excellent businessman because um, they were able to survive the depression through the 30s, and they decided to build this beautiful house, this home in the country. And I learned a lot about this. And if you ever get a chance to see this home and walk through it, you do have to reserve your tickets online. It's a very popular destination. Definitely do. It's worth every penny that it costs to see this place. Don't know a lot about these people personally, and I'm not, this is not an endorsement of anybody's lifestyle or anything like that. But the house, I mean, the talent that Frank Lloyd Wright had was clearly demonstrated in this house. And I learned that this was towards the end of his life, and he was having a hard time, getting business when he made this house. But he built this house, as you know, those of you who are familiar with it from your art history class or something. It was built into a waterfall, a real waterfall. He wanted to try to build a house that would just fit the natural environment as much as possible and kind of be a part of the environment instead of, oh, anyway. And the family thought that he was going to want to build the house just so that they could look at the waterfall. And he's like, no, 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 we're going to be part of the waterfall. So it was just beautiful. It was clearly an older building, and they did have some scaffolding, which we were easily able to overlook. And we probably saw it during the least beautiful time of the year because all the leaves are off the trees. There wasn't snow or anything like that. But even so, it was amazing to walk through because it felt like a home. And one of the beautiful things, um, it was really it was really a journey. Um, I didn't expect this. I thought, okay, it's going to be, looking at a piece of architecture, but you actually walk through every room. The son of the family who built this was an architectural enthusiast as well, and he's the one who put Frank Lloyd Wright in contact with his parents to build this house. And when his parents, of course, passed, and then he was the heir. And when he gave this over to I guess the people who run the conservatory uh, organization that maintains it, it's kind of like, I guess, like kind of like state owned now. Um, he had a list of rules, and one of them was you're not going to cordon off the rooms with these you know, velvety barriers. I want people to be able to walk into the rooms. and experience it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was wonderful. And the lady was explaining the windows in this one corner of the house. If you look at a picture, you'll see a whole row that goes down three different stories. And somebody was asking a question. Well, why do they open inward? Why does that door open like that? And there's like a half moon cut out of the desk. And she says, let me show you. And she opened the windows and opened two, like this little door, and opened these two windows that were, of course, very artistically designed. And it just brought the sound of the waterfall right into the room. It was amazing. It was one of those, almost like a spiritual moment for me. It's like, oh my goodness, this is wonderful. I don't want to go anywhere else. I want to live here. So it was like if you've ever camped near a stream or a river, in a tent, it was almost like it just brings that feeling, that wonderful feeling in, of course, minus the snakes and the bugs and stuff. But yeah, it was just really, really amazing just to see, how an expression of art can affect you. And I guess being an artist, it affected me, or at least I'm trying to be. So anyway, those of you who are also have that creative vein, if you get a chance, anytime you're anywhere near, Pittsburgh, and you get the chance to see this, stop in and see it. Spend a couple hours there, um, and that's the other thing. They let you stay in the room, and even once she was done with the tour, she's like, "You're welcome to stay on the premises and look around and do whatever." And I just thought that was just really, really cool. You just felt like you were visiting a friend at their home, and it was beautiful. Anyway, okay, I probably went way too long on that, but my shameless plug for Falling Water. Again, I did not expect much of this trip. I just thought, well, I'm going to visit my kids, but it just turned out to be just a really impressionable experience for me. So, yeah, even more so than seeing the Mona Lisa. I mean, that was an interesting experience at the Louvre in Paris many years ago, but that was interesting. But this was just very different. Was very moving. All right, thank you, Hannah. You were so encouraging. All right. Oh, goodness. Ekstrom says, good afternoon. This will be an even more welcome break than usual since I'm moving tomorrow. Lots of snow here in southern Sweden. Oh my goodness, that's a major life change whenever you move, Ekstrom. I hope that goes well for you, my friend. Wow. Oh my goodness. Um, let's see. Wow. I'm glad I'm not moving tomorrow. Living out of a suitcase is enough for me for a while because I feel like that's a mini move, but yeah, I know that I can go to my home and my stuff is still there. I hope. um, Thank you, Beverly, for taking care of Phil and caring for our fiber friend. And hello, Margita. Good to have you in the chat. Um, and Felicia, thanks too for caring for Phil. Got a lot of ugh, I'm missing I'm missing a lot here. Well, let me just tell you a couple more things. Um, Let me show you what I did on the plane on the way down here to Georgia. I didn't hide all the loose strands yet, but I will show you what I did. Um, I took some leftovers. This is what I have of the leftovers that I'm finished. This I can't do much more with this, but I had a lot of this. This is a blend of merino wool and silk. I'm thinking of the name of it. It's not coming to me right away. It's been in my stash a long time, and it is a weight. See, a lace weight, and then I also had a lot of mohair. This is not a lot. This is leftovers, but this is what I can do nothing with. But anyway, I had a lot of mohair that's also lace weight. And so I decided to do something. I wanted to do something just kind of relaxing on the plane. So there is a design on my channel. It's called the Easy Bobble Scarf or Shawl. It has bobbles on it. And I used Lion Brand Mandala yarn. I think it was a number 3 weight yarn, an H hook, and it has all the different fall colors in it. It just kind of changes slowly from browns to yellows to oranges. And I think there's a little bit of blue in there, of course. And it's in the Easy Beginner book. And somebody contacted me about that pattern, and it brought it to my attention again. So I decided, just for the fun of it, and pardon my strings, I haven't finished yet, but I used the remainder of my I had blue mohair and I had white mohair lace weight, and I combined it with the lace weight of the merino wool and silk. There's also silk in the mohair, and I was able to finish this. I used up all that I had, and it was just so much fun, and it feels very soft. This is gonna be very, very warm, even though there are a lot of holes in it. Can you see that? And even when I changed the blue and the white mohair, you can see the color change is subtle, but it's there. So all that to say is old pattern, new scarf or new shawl. So that's something if you have leftover yarn, or perhaps you don't have the funds to go out and buy new yarn. I mean, I'm all for shopping from your stash. And so I didn't even consider using this yarn at all. And I just, on my way out the door, I just grabbed, and thought, oh, let's just do something with this. And I think that's something I'm going to do more and more of, is just change it up with what I have. I've got a lot of sock weight yarn, and you can pair that with a small strand of mohair, or even another color yarn just to change it up. So anyway, just a thought. Um, this was just so much fun, and a simple pattern. It's simple pattern, and it worked up very, very quickly. I did that, started it on Tuesday, and I finished it last night. Just working a minute here, a couple minutes there. So anyway, I just wanted to show that to you. And those of you who are still looking for Christmas designs, it's getting towards the end now, but I still have those 2 tree skirts. It's probably a little late to start that, but maybe for next year. And I do have the Christmas cabled throw if you're looking for a throw to work on. And suppose you don't want to have this for Christmas, all you got to do is change the color of yarn that you're using. And for those of you who are looking for yarn, they've had some really good Lovecraft sales on their paint box, which is the yarn that I use a lot. You can use any worsted weight yarn for my designs. Let me just be clear about that. But if you're looking for the stuff that I like to use, and I like to use this because I can get a lot that I need. I can get all that I need in the same dye lot. And I can usually order enough so that I get free shipping. And I usually wait till it's on sale. Well, it's on sale now. I believe it's at 40%. Last email that I saw, I do have a link for this in my video description if you wanted to check it out to see if they have anything that you would like. They not only have the paint box yarns on 40%, they have some of the really good stuff too. Like, not to say this isn't good, but the natural fiber, like some of the Debbie Bliss, brain, alpaca, slow retrieval here. Alpaca, a lot of their wool, a lot of name brands, if you're familiar and like some of the fancier name brand stuff, it is available and online. Okay, on Monday, assuming I get my act together, I'm going to shoot for Monday. If it doesn't happen Monday, it'll happen on Tuesday, I hope. I am hoping to release the Celtic Star shawl. This is primarily using the Celtic weave stitch, and also using the low front ridge, or it might be the low back ridge. and ribbing and a simple trim at the bottom. And you can see I did add some a little bit of a sparkle. The sparkle doesn't usually show on video as well, but a little bit of sparkle on the bead. You can hear the beads as they hit the table. Um, and this is one of those things that you can make as large or as small as you want. As seen here, this is sock weight yarn. That's number 1 weight yarn, and I used three hanks. So that would be approximately, or just a little bit less than 1,200 yards. Okay. So this will be coming out Monday, the Celtic Star shawl. And I hope you enjoy that one. It's very similar to the Celtic Star baby blanket. So if you've ever made the Celtic Star baby blanket, you've got this one down. It is just a little bit different because of the edging and also the way you turn the corners or turn at the end of the rows, and you're adding stitches each time. So that would be something a little different that you didn't do on the blanket. So, okay. And Hannah is sending me some. Hannah says the yarn color of the cake you had held up looks like Frappuccino from Starbucks or coffee with creamer in it. Well, Hannah, you're not altogether wrong. I don't know the exact name of this, but there might be a coffee themed throw in the future. Just saying. Actually, there will be, but that's all I can show you about it right now. So yeah, we do have something being developed right now. And even though I'm not a coffee drinker, I know just about all the rest of my family members are. I still don't understand it, but yeah, love you guys anyway. I mean, it's just isn't it great how we can have different ideas and different preferences and still be friends? At least that's the way I hope we are moving in that general trend. I know in my family, we have differences, and certainly when it comes to drinks and food, they are pronounced. All right. We have Freaky Geeks who says, "Oh wow, I hope it's just my computer, but video got real glitchy." I don't know what it might be, Freaky Geek. I am transmitting in a place where we do not have FiOS, so it's a slower speed internet service. It's the fastest they could get, but super fast does not exist here yet. Oh, thank you, Linda. She says, "Good morning. So glad to hear that you're Christian. Thank you for sharing that." It's my joy too, but I also will say about being Christian, it's only by the grace of God. It's not because of anything I've ever done. In fact, it's probably in spite of anything and everything I've done. So, yeah, He is good. He is gracious. And I live in His grace all the time. Freaky Geek says, "Now I wonder, would a bot say we are not bots too?" I don't know, Freaky Geek. That's a good question. Oh, thank you, Monique. She says, "So many beautiful tutorials. My first live today." Well, welcome. I'm glad I got to read your comment and didn't sidestep it. I try not to do that, but sometimes if I don't get it in my feed, it doesn't happen. And she says she's from France. Excellent. I so loved visiting France. Got to see a lot of the landscape from a train from the HG. See, no, not HGT. That's Horry County. TGV. When we were there in 2013, and just loved visiting Paris. I want to see more. My husband and I want to go back and want to see other towns as well. But we love watching the Tour de France every year. We have to sit and watch every episode. We have watch as much as we can. Not because we are so much into biking, although we enjoy watching that. My husband enjoys watching it, so I enjoy crocheting while he watches it. But it's really fun to see the countryside. That's the highlight for me. I'm backing up a little bit. Thank you, Felicia, for caring for each other here. And Stephanie says, "I can't even grow anything in Texas. I cannot imagine in Alaska." Whew. Well, Stephanie, I can't imagine growing anything in Texas either. When I was in Dallas, there wasn't a lot of green stuff growing. I know it's very hot and dry there, but I have no excuse, and I still have trouble growing things, but that's partly because I have deer usually eating what I'm trying to grow. But it does take a special gift and knowledge, I think, to do a lot of that, and special soil. And thank you, Gail. She says, greetings from Alaska. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you. Thank you. And let's see. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I'm going to keep on going here. And Jane, she says, caught you live at last. Yay. Glad you could join us, Jane. And Freaky Geek says, do some arm workouts for the flying. Yeah. Oh, believe me. Yep. And Cynthia Burke, welcome, welcome. Glad that you could be with us. Yeah, okay. And Beth says, hello from Beth and Terry. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving to all who will be celebrating. I don't know if I read that twice or not. I thought about reading it. So if I've read it twice, sorry, but I'm so glad that you're here with us, Beth. Hope you and your cross stitching are going well. Yeah, sorry, Hannah. Sorry, the signal isn't that great. Okay, Freaky Geek says refreshing and it's all clear again. Good. Yeah, I had to refresh just to get started this morning. It just kind of got bogged down here. And Beth, is it Felanu? Welcome to our chat. And again, Linda, so glad you could join us. And Stephanie says, I'm working on an HOS pattern. I know it's not one of yours, but I was tired of making many scarves, so I started something different. Oh, we all get that. Definitely. Sometimes I go over to knitting sometimes just to give my hands a break when I'm in that kind of a mood as well. I haven't done it in a while though. And we have Donna from is it Coos Bay, Oregon. Wow. Welcome from Oregon. Um, Freaky Geek says, hello to all showing up, lurking while working, traveling. Be safe. Like the hit button and change top to live chat. Yeah, good advice. Thank you for giving us some technical ideas there, Freaky Geek. There's always something to learn on these machines. Wow, she says, it's a 7 centigrade in my section of Canada and wet. Ugh. I'd have to think about what 7 centigrade is, but that's probably similar to what we were having in Maryland. And Mrs. Debbie says, good morning. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Debbie. If you like my sweater, if you like the sweater, it's the what's the name of it? But if you look at my playlist and you hit sweaters, look for sweaters. This is one of the crochet sweaters in the playlist, and I tell you, it's not hard. I mean, once doing the yoke is a lot of fun. I love using. You can use your color changing yarn, or you could just use a solid color. And when you get to the bodice, it's just around and around and around. Of course, you leave openings for the underarm, and then later go on to work the arms. When you just go around and around and around, it's no sewing involved whatsoever. And if you do what I always say is compare it to something that you have that fits you well, the sizing will come out very well. And this is using sock weight yarn. And Margaret wants to know, is knitting easier on your hands? It all depends, Margaret. I think on the techniques that you're using for both. I think if you're a thrower, like if you do the English way, I don't think it's any easier on your hands, but I think the continental method, I have found that it is less motion in my hands than crochet. But with crochet too, I recommend that you really study your technique, or try to get a technique that minimizes as much motion as possible. It's different motion. How's that? It's a different motion. And for me, using continental style, it's a lesser of a motion. It I can tend to get a little bored with it though, which is why I don't get a lot of knitting done. Because especially when you get to the part where you're just doing knit stitch for like millions of stitches, I have fallen asleep doing that. Whereas I think the changing up the stitches, especially with the cabling for me, it is a lot of motion. It's more motion in my hand, but it keeps my brain a little more in tune so that I don't sleep. Gosh, I hope that's not too much of a slam against knitting because I like both. And I love the results of knitting, which is why I like to imitate it with the crochet hook. I do like knitting. So if you're a knitter out there, I hope I didn't offend you. Everybody experiences these crafts in different ways. So yeah, I mean it's all according to the technique that you use, but it can be easier. But again, if you're using the English technique, that could be even more motion for your hand. So it's really all dependent on how you're doing it. Sorry for my squeaky chair, guys, but it's a really comfortable chair. Thank you for letting me use it, Caleb. Um, And Lisa Fitzgerald says, "Hi, Bonnie. I'm adjusting your woven cable super scarf pattern and making it into a Ruana wrap." Ooh, please send me a picture, Lisa. I would love to see and share if you don't mind. You guys are my best social media posts, just the work of your hands, because it can kind of confirm my work as well. So if you don't mind me sharing your work, I love sharing what you do with others. And even if it's not my pattern, I love sharing, what you're up to because I just, yeah, it's a craft in general that we want to keep alive. And Samantha, welcome. Um, all right, somehow we're talking about iPods. Okay, I missed that. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep going here because it's getting a little on the late side. And Wanda Bigelow, good to have you here, my friend. Good morning, dear Bonnie. I appreciate you so much. It's rainy and windy here. 2 more radiation treatments. Oh boy, Wanda, I will pray for you again today. Thank you for that reminder. I hope that goes well and hope the prognosis is excellent for you going into the holidays and beyond. And Robin says, "Hello, Bonnie. I'm practicing the stitches on the Inishmin poncho. Got to say that Celtic weave stitch I have torn out probably 8 or 9 times. I'm practicing with yarn that isn't what you suggested." Hopefully, it's yarn that's not that important, Robin. Yeah, the Celtic weave. And let me show this again. This is what she's talking about. This stitch here, I mean, I'll be the first to say this can be a stinker of a stitch until you understand how it interweaves with itself. And it's usually the second row, the row when you have the front side facing away from you, that can be a real stinker. So all I could say is hang with it. I do have 2 or 3 different videos on this on my channel. And what I would do is just slow them down as much as possible. And I would say that it's about feeling the stitch as much as it is seeing the stitch, actually more so, and just to use the nerve endings in your fingers and your thumb to try to understand what you need to be doing with that. And a lot of that is also feeling for the stitch that you're going to be linking it to. That's where those fingers come in. I think slow and steady, even if you have to rip out a lot. But once you get it and understand it, I think you'll get it. But again, it's like learning algebra or one of those maths that can be a little challenging. It may take more than 1 or 2 exposures to really get that. So thanks for hanging in there. But once you get it, I think you'll like it. But yeah, it understandably is probably one of the more challenging stitches that I have out there. It's also one of the more popular ones, so go figure. Um, yeah. Okay. And I have made enemies with that stitch, so I hope you can get it. And if not, you can always substitute with like the basket weave. In the meantime, that stitch should. I'm trying to think. It's a multiple of 4. You could probably make that work if you needed to. You could even do a 2-stitch basket weave instead. Pardon me. And thank you again, Hannah, for helping out. And we have, is it Nikitha from Guernsey, Channel Isles? Wow, welcome. One of my favorite movies was filmed on Guernsey. Um, Wonderful, beautiful cinematography. I hope to visit that island sometime. And Jesus Joy 7 says, hello, Bonnie, Hannah, and the community. I pray everyone is doing fine. It's a chilly 64 degrees in San Diego today. I'm praying everyone has a very happy and blessed Thanksgiving. I have to I have to smile at that because you just reminded me of my mom when we were living in South Florida. I forget how many times she said, "Yeah, the temperature's going all the way down into the 60s tonight," which was cold if you lived in South Florida and you're used to 85. Um, but if it's 64 degrees where I live in Maryland, I don't even take a jacket. It's like, "Oh, this feels great. Let's put the top down on the Miata." But yeah, I know when you're in places where you're used to the warmth, for some reason, the cold, I do think feels colder than it does in other places. I know that when it's 64 in Florida, it felt cold. When it's 64 in Maryland, it feels amazing. So I think that, I don't know, maybe it's the geography. We get used to different things, but that I hope you're having a good time there. All right. Lots of questions. I'm probably not going to get to all of them. Oh my goodness. Um, and Freaky Geek says, love to craft, work up a project, frog it, then work up another project and decide which one looked better. Oh my. Okay. I do not like the frog, even if I have to. And Love to Craft says, I have a blue mandala cake that I can't decide what to do with it. I might just try the shawl. I would give it a try. And if you need to upsize your hook for that cake of yarn, upsize your hook. Let the yarn be nice and, nice and flexible and flowy, drapey, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And Hannah's got a funny conversation going on with Freaky Geek. Um, a nice layer of snow is preferable over 6 feet dump of snow. Oh yeah. Um, and Hannah's funny. She says it's hard to shovel that much, and you can't sled on it unless it's sticky snow. You could probably make some killer snow people. Yes, you could with 6 feet of snow. We've had that before. Okay, great. I'm finally getting to the comments on the shawl. I'm glad you all like that. Cecilia. Um, and Mrs. Debbie, thank you. And Yaskow, see, we had a dusting of snow here in Rimini, Italy. I know where that is because we stayed overnight one night in Rimini. I think I may have told you that before, but last time we were um, in Italy, it was 2022. We after our Mediterranean cruise, we rented a car and drove up up the peninsula of Italy, and it was amazing. And so you're near the beach. I remember walking and seeing the beach there, which was really cool. Oh, thank you, Ekstrom. She says, lovely tale of the house. Agreed. Artistic impressions and indeed impressions in general can be very strong, even too strong. Yeah, it was a very moving experience for me. It's hard to even talk about it without being emotional in a good way. So, oh, Hannah, you're so funny. Um, okay, so we have Lisa Fitzgerald. Yeah, thanks, Lisa. She says, yeah, Lovecraft is having a 40% off sale on paint box yarn, stocked up for early anticipated future blanket patterns. Yay! I've got two or three coming in 2024. So there are going to be a few coming down the pike. One is ready to go, one is being designed, and another is designed, but it's a collab. So it's going to be a lot of interesting things coming in 2025. Did I say 2024? 2025. Okay, okay. So I think I'm kind of up to snuff here. I just want to make sure I don't leave anybody out. Um, thank you guys, Beverly and everybody about the pattern. Thank you. And Freaky Geek, it keeps your hands busy, and you get to see how the yarn works up from different patterns. Yeah, that's actually probably a good thing to think about too. Um, Thank you, Carmen. She loves the color. And Vanessa says, "Thank you, Bonnie. The Celtic blanket is a little challenging, but I love a challenge. I've ripped out lots of rows and redone, but I am a bit of a perfectionist. Anyway, I'm enjoying it." Whew, that's good. That's good, Vanessa. Um, Ha ha ha, freaky geek. Is there any bobbing going on while you weave? Huh. I actually bobbles, not bobbing. Um, Turn some music on. My little grandsons like to do some bobbing. They get into that. And Lynn, glad you made it, my friend. Hope things are going well for you in Chicago. And Jesus Joy 7 said, "Yeah, it looks so soft and so pretty." Thank you. Thank you, Kathleen. And thank you, Lynn, for your kind words and your blessing. You're so sweet. And yeah, and freaking geek telling Vanessa Stewart, I look at frogging as a chance to practice the stitching. Yeah, that's actually a good idea if you've got the time to do that and don't need to meet any deadline for anything. That's actually what I do with my swatching. So that's another thing you can do is make a small sample swatch as you're learning stitches and use yarn that I use some acrylic or some yarn that can rip out easily and it won't kill it, won't strip it of its usefulness. Now, if you're working with mohair, this is not the yarn to practice on. I'll just say that if you try ripping out mohair, you might lose your mind because mohair doesn't like to rip out. That now that I've said that, when I paired it with the merino wool and silk, you could rip it back a little bit. I wouldn't want to have to rip out an entire project, but it did rip back for me a couple times. Made it easier, but it's because of the silk and the merino wool that was paired with it. But if it's just mohair by itself, you make sure that you know what you're doing before you start with that. Mohair is one of my favorite fibers of all time, I think, to work with because I love the like cotton candy ethereal kind of effect. But if you're not sure of a pattern, do what Freaky Geek says. Practice on something else. Then once you understand how it works, then bring out the mohair if it's just mohair by itself, which I highly recommend you try doing, and with an oversized hook because you get this heavenly um, garment that you can wear, but it's not what you want to use if you're prone to make a lot of mistakes in a particular stitch pattern. Do it with something else or learn the stitch pattern and then pick up the mohair and have fun with it. Hannah wants me to explain what frogging is, just in case you don't know. This is frogging is a slang that's kind of a made up word for people who knit or crochet. When you make mistakes and you want to pull out the stitches, you have to rip it out. So when you say rip it, rip it, rip it, rip it, it sounds a little like ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. So that's how the term came to mean frogs. That's why the word frogging has to do with ripping, because rip it sounds like ribbit, if that makes sense. It's kind of goofy. I mean, it's funny how I guess you'd call it a subculture. We are kind of a subculture with crochet if you've been around or following online much, because we have our own little vocabulary, like PhD. Some people use that a lot. I'm working on my PhD. What they mean, they're not talking about their doctorate. They're talking project half done, things like that. So there's just a lot of kind of silly and fun slang in this industry or in our little subculture, I guess, that we have, our little bubble. So, oh, thank you, Beth. says Terry says hi, and that you and Jesus are her sanity. Oh, I don't feel real comfortable putting me on that same level, please. But I understand what she means. That's funny. Thank you, Beth. Tell her I said hey. I hope to see her at some point again. Uh, maybe we can. I don't know. It'd be fun to get together at some point, but just not sure when that's going to be. Got a lot going on in our family this coming year, um, including a wedding. So, lots happening. Uh, just taking one day at a time. And thank you guys. You're so sweet. Um, yes, TGV. Thank you for confirming that, Monica. Yeah, I was getting my acronyms mixed up. That's the high speed train. If you ever want to go at 200 plus miles an hour, if you want to go faster than Jeff Gordon on a train, go to France and take the TGV. It's unbelievable, and it's one of the nicest train experiences I've ever had. Trains were beautifully clean, very modern, not like Amtrak. I've traveled Amtrak many, many, many times. I don't do that anymore. But if you're in Europe, you can take the trains. They're usually really excellent. Um, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to put down Amtrak or anything, but I had a bad experience. Okay, last time I took the train in 2020, I had a bad experience. And that's all I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to go into any details, but not doing that again. Uh, thank you, Freaky Geek, for yeah, and Cherry Berry, cute little book nook. Oh, thank you. I'll tell my son that you said that. This is his place. He's got a lot of good books behind me there. Um, I'm using his little office that he uses for his film stuff. And and Linda's story says, I'm a beginner left-hander and having trouble learning, but we crochet scarves and hats to take to the park in my town and give them to the homeless. What a blessing it is to do that. Well, very nice, Linda. I'm so glad you can. Just to let you know, everything I do has a left-handed version of it. If you don't see it coming up in your feed, just take the name of what you want to make that's on my channel and write left-handed in front of that on the search, and it will bring up the video that you need. Um, yeah, thank you, Barbara. She says it's fun to make Christmas, I guess Christmas things now, even if not till next year. Absolutely. And see, Warren, good morning to you. She's coming all the way from White, or she, him, it, don't know because I just see the name. Good morning from Wyoming. So glad that you could join. So I don't mean to assume one way or the other on the name. You just see as an initial, not sure, but welcome. You are so welcome here. And Margaret says, I want to try continental. Yeah, continental. I do have videos for that too. I don't mean to be always pointing at that, but yeah, I do have videos for beginning continental style knitting. And I go very slowly in the videos. So in an effort to make it understandable. And when I was making a lot of those videos, I had not been knitting very long myself. So I had no option but to go slowly and an attempt to just be as clear as possible. And again, if you need help looking for those, just Google left-handed. I have a whole playlist. If you go to the home page and look under playlist, there's a whole playlist for left-handed knitting. So I hope that serves you well. Um, and Nessa, so glad to have you here. She said, hi everyone. It's why I like Tunisian crochet so much. I guess because it imitates knitting. It does that very well. Um, all right. Well, I need to get going here because I need to let you all go. And let me just make sure I haven't missed anybody. Jody, so glad that you're here. She says, I love the colors of your sweater. It makes me smile inside and out. Yeah. Oh, I love wearing color. Even if it's not my best colors, I just color makes me happy. And if you're wearing something that makes you happy, that's a good thing, right? Um, Okay. So, oh, Nodula's in the chat. So glad to see you. All right. And Brad's mom gave a tip about the Celtic cables to avoid the gaps. Thank you for that. Um, I am missing a lot of comments, y'all. I'm sorry about that. Okay, Vanessa, I see your comment. Now, what is frogging? I hope that was helpful. Um, yeah, let's see. I just hope I didn't miss anything major. Hopefully, Hannah will let me know. And I need to, okay, I think I got to the end here. So we have We Three Bees. Glad that you're here. And let's see, anybody else? Oh, Donna, glad to have you. She says, got to sign off. Okay, I do too. But I wanted to read a little something, just a little tiny nibble before we go today, reading it from the good book here. And this is one of my favorite Psalms. And verses 1 writes, I will give thanks to the Lord with my whole heart. I will recount all of your wonderful deeds. I will be glad and exult in you. I will sing praises to your name, O Most High. Reminds me of a song I learned many years ago by the late Keith Green. He wrote a song on Psalm 8 and on Psalm 9, which are beautiful. Maybe you can look them up if you get a chance. But I wanted to wish you all a most blessed Thanksgiving. And remember, I'm not going to be here next Friday, but I hope to be there here or somewhere back in Maryland the Friday after that. So I just wish you all the very best. I am very, very, very thankful for you. And I will see you, Lord willing, in 2 weeks. All right. God bless. Bye bye.